A very good afternoon, one and all present here. I, on behalf of Asian Education Group, extend a warm welcome to all of you. Today's session is a grand commencement of the LEAD series. LEAD is an initiative of Asian Education Group which aims at developing and inculcating the leadership and entrepreneurship spirit amongst the young generation. Leadership and entrepreneurship is the need of the hour and the most necessary tool for sustainable development, business growth, employment generation, and empowerment. AG Lead invites top industry professionals wherein they share their high valued experiences, guide students towards innovative thinking, self development, and attributes of becoming an effective leader. Few of the prominent speakers under this program include Sri Pranab Mukherjee, Dr. Kiran Bedi, Mr. Sagar Dayani, founder of Wow Momos, General Bikram Singh, former Chief of Indian Army Staff of India, Mr. R.K. Somani, to name a few. I just mentioned that this is a grand commencement because we have a very charismatic leader with us today. It is a great honor for me to introduce and welcome our guest, Dr. Samir Kapoor, Director at Factors PR, one of the India's largest PR firm. He has more than 2 decades of experience in the field of corporate communications, investor relations, and strategic planning. Dr. Kapoor holds a strong expertise in multiple specialties, including strategizing communications across verticals, external and internal communication, business analytics and intelligence, crisis communication and public affairs, also government engagement. He is equally adept at conceptualizing digital media campaigns for clients over various sectors. Over the years, Dr. Kapoor has serviced marquee clients such as Vodafone, MTS, PwC, Tata Group, Infosys, Singapore Airlines, Maruti Suzuki, Tata Motors, General Motors, and the list is exhaustive. Dr. Samir Kapoor is an engineer with MBA in Finance and Marketing. He has also equipped himself with a PhD in Mergers and Acquisitions from Aligarh Muslim University. Today, we have an opportunity to gather some knowledge from his weighty experiences. On behalf of all gathered here, I welcome you, sir. I would request you, sir, to please take the session forward.
Thank you, Garma, and thank you, everyone. Uh, Thank you for the warm welcome. I'm actually in the August company, given what Garma names that you've taken briefly before me. They are all, you know, luminaries in their respective field. So I am here to discuss with all the attendees to talk about what public relation is and how communication can have impact on anything that we are seeing currently. Uh, Also, the fact that this time is an unprecedented time when we've been talking about this time for many years. In fact, U.S. military started off with something called a VUCA as an acronym, which they used loosely. VUCA stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous situation, which they actually used for the Desert Storm and the war that happened during the 1990s, early 90s, which caught everyone's imagination. Because prior to that, we were looking at Ramayana and Mahabharata in late 80s, where one arrow used to come from here, the other arrow used to come from another place, and then it used to disappear. But for the first time, the Patriot and the Scud missiles actually on live television, CNN showed to all of us, and that's where the power of communication started. PR actually is just an element of using communication to a great extent. uh, Everyone from all walks of life is using public relation. All of you are also using public relation in a great way. And the reason I'm telling you this is because the results are out, which is both 10th and 12th. The board results are out, and you would have seen how the marks have been positioned. But I'm reminded of the pre-board results where nobody studies, because everyone is more bothered about the party that is the farewell party that the school plans. And because it is just after the pre-board exams, generally what happens, students tend to skip the element of studying, and therefore the percentage drops. I can tell you for myself, of course, I've never got this kind of percentage. I'm from a different era. At our time, 75% was considered phenomenal. मिठाइयाँ बढ़ जाती थी, but अभी तो 95 भी आ जाते हैं, तो still people feel that पता नहीं क्या हो गया. They make that faces like as if something great disaster has happened. So when look at yourself when you have scored less marks, I did it, and how we do what is called a public relation or PR with our parents. In that sense, the stakeholder becomes our parents because we've scored less. We know that we'll not be able to wear the suits or the saris depending on which gender you are and what you are wearing for your farewell party. You'll not be able to wear that, and you'll not be able to showcase your best stuff to your friends. Now, because you have to go, what you do is first you convert your percentage into percentile. By which I mean, let's say, assuming you've scored 40 marks out of 100 in maths, which are not considered good, and your parents are going to give you a tight slap if you say that I want to go out for a party. So the first thing that you will do is you convert percentage into percentile, by which I mean the topper of your class invariably will score 50 out of 100. So therefore the reference point changes from 100 to 50 because parents will think कि टॉपर के 50 आए हैं तो मेरे बच्चे के 40 आए हैं तो भी ठीक. अभी तक आपने अपने मार्क्स नहीं बताए. और आप दूसरा जो बोलते हैं वो ये बोलते हैं कि all the students will have this thing that out of a class of 50, 35 have failed. So you are one of those 15 who have passed. And at the same time, you'll also put in another PR element which will say that teacher has said that if you pass my pre-board exam, I will definitely score more than 95 in board exam. So with these 3 or 4 data points or bullet points, you are trying to play to your stakeholders, specifically your parents, in order to convince them to go for a party that you so desire. So this as an example is something that most of us are now trying to do from a PR perspective, whether it is a lawyer, whether it is a politician, whether it is a celebrity, whether it is a Corpcom person, or it is a CEO or you take from any walk of life. You can't have a situation where the person doesn't use public relation or in that manner communication to figure out what exactly is needed. And this entire process of communication has actually been accelerated in this COVID era, and the fact that the digitization of the entire thing is now happening at a much faster pace. By which I mean, print at one point of time as a medium was still considered the most trusted one. People used to read their papers over a cup of tea early in the morning. But during this COVID time, because there was nothing available, there is a shift that is happening to digital in a very, very fast way. You look at the large television players as well, whether it is Star, whether it is Z, whether it is Colors, or it is Sony. These are 4 general entertainment channels. And what are they asking you to do as community? They are asking us as audience to come on Disney Hotstar, to come on Voot, to come on Z5, and to come on Sony Live. Right? Point is that they also know that the audience is now shifting towards the digital side. This is something that we as communicators need to understand in a big way, that where this pivot or the shift is happening. Garima spoke about one of the companies that I have consulted, which is Infosys. If you look at this company in last 27, 28 years of its existence, the company has been in the limelight as the bellwether stock for IT, as someone that has given the Indian middle class a huge impetus, people who can learn. None of the ads that you can remember from this company that is in your mind, the advertisement is not being used by the organization. So how is it that this organization, which is not using advertising, is suddenly in the mind? You ask anyone, someone from arts background, someone from a commerce background who has nothing to do with IT, you ask him, have you heard about Infosys? And the answer will be yes. And it is an IT firm. Nobody's aware as to what products they make, but the word of mouth that Infosys has got and the public relation that Infosys has been able to garner for its brand has made larger than life, the brand it is. Similarly, I can go on. There is a body shop which has been built only on PR. There is Tesla, which has not even spent a single money on ads. Has the highest number of cars that have been sold this quarter. You see how Elon Musk has been talking about multiple things. He's used public relation to a great advantage, in a big thing. Near home, our current Prime Minister has done brilliantly when it comes to using PR as positioning himself as someone who's hardworking, someone who thinks for the nation, someone who has ideas, and even certain things where opposition is was absolutely sure that this act of the PM or the current government is going to bring down the government, but nothing of that sort has happened. Whether it is demonetization, whether it is GST implementation, and the reason for all of this is the way that the person is communicating with its target audience. There is a global pandemic going on with COVID. There is a issue at the line of control of actual control in Ladakh region. Yet the person goes out and speaks to his stakeholders in a way that motivates them, that makes them feel connected. And even if you look at all the surveys that have been done, 78 to 80% of Indians will still vote for him as the next prime minister. One of the reasons that it has happened is because he's been able to understand the element of communication. It is about how well are you able to communicate. The previous gentleman who was earlier prime minister, the biggest thing for all of us was he doesn't communicate at all. Right. So the one of the success factor that comes in for everyone, any businessman you pick up, any politicians that you pick up, any politician that you pick up, anyone that you feel has been doing well, one of the key elements that you'll see from that success is his ability to communicate. He or she will be a great orator. He or she will have a point of view, and the person will be able to communicate in a great way. Now, coming to public relation as to what PR can do. So public relation as a tool is about engaging with my target audience. So whether you are a lawyer, as I said, whether you are an educator, whether you are anyone, it is about how I'm using that tool to make sure that I connect with my target audience. In this way, the target audience can vary, and therefore audience targeting becomes very, very important. Again, taking a cue from the political PR, when someone has to reach out to semi-urban and rural setup, the tool that he or she will be using is totally different. Again, I'm giving an example from Mr. Modi's booklet only, that when he reached out to the semi-urban places or urban places, he used the masks, he used the old format of outreach. There is a huge caricature which was built about him, and people thought that he's talking to him. There was another element called Chai Pe Charcha that was discussed, which took off in a big way. Again, Charcha is about having a discussion and a communication around something. He also used Twitter. He also used LinkedIn. He also used Facebook in a big way. In fact, there are many followers of his on all these three platforms where he keeps on communicating on multiple assets and issues that he have in mind. So from our perspective, in public relation and in the field of communication, it becomes very, very important for us to understand why PR is important, why everyone should learn the element of public relation, because if you have to be successful. So whether it is internal, as in you have to speak internally to your employees, or you have to speak outside to your stakeholders, it becomes very important for us to talk about it. And any issue, anything that can hit you, you need to be sure about that element. So there is an unfortunate incident that happened. One of the Bollywood star, passed away, committing suicide. And the way his fans took onto the social media, and because of which a certain section of Bollywood was being cornered, actually shows that with this element of communication is becoming very important in whatever we do in our current stream of things. So taking an example again from this element in the current COVID crisis, what is happening is brands that are being empathetic, brands that understand that all of us are in a situation which is controlled, which has been unheard of. Nobody has seen this kind of a situation in 100 odd years. So all the living people are seeing it for the first time. This kind of a situation, if the brands are arrogant, brands talk about themselves, they will be taken to cleaners on the social media. Because in the social world, everyone is a journalist, everyone has its own point of view, and everyone can talk about their own feelings, their own behavior, their own attitudes on social media. Now, what is it that the brands can do? We need to engage with them using public relations. And all the brands that have done well over a period of time are the ones that have been able to engage with their consumers in a or their target audience in a nice way. Garima also spoke about things like innovation and entrepreneurship. Again, the best way for an entrepreneur to talk about his product and his services without spending the large marketing bucks is using public relations, because public relation will help you ride on a particular element or a tactic and will give you that kind of impetus that you need for your brand to be spoken highly about. So the brands that have made huge amount of dent in the recent past, as I spoke about earlier, Tesla has not spent a single money in advertising, whereas Ford, General Motors have spent millions of dollars in advertising. Yet Tesla, because of the word of mouth and because of good PR, has been able to sell or outperform all the other vehicle manufacturer in US. Similarly, in Indian context, companies like Make My Trip, companies like Oyo, Ola, Uber, uh, all of these guys have been able to make a dent because they are innovators in their own sense in the current scheme of things. They are, as we call it in marketing, they are late entrants. They came into the party late, but they captured a lot of imagination and they captured a lot of the way that things are working. If you look at purely from the OTT side, Netflix is a very recent phenomenon. But the way people are now logging onto Netflix to watch, whether it is a Money Heist or it is any other web series that you like, it's giving a run for money to Star and to others, and because of which the other players have also now forced to launch or come on that same platform because they are seeing the success of one platform versus another. Same is true with Amazon, which started off as a book reading app or a website and pivoted itself in delivering stuff to you. It is now one of the most valuable company in the world from a bellwether perspective. Again, when it comes to e-commerce, you can't ignore Amazon in the entire scheme of things. The way Amazon has taken on Walmart. Walmart was more physical in nature. You have to go and buy stuff. But on Amazon, you can just click on e-commerce on your sitting at your home, at your comfort, and the product will be delivered to you. So I think from a disruption and innovation that Garima spoke about, these are the new disruptors and these are the new innovators that are actually taking the entire world by storm. And if you look at again the amount of word of mouth and PR that these guys have done, whether it is the launch of Alexa, whether it is the way the Amazon is being used, or other Amazon Music and other things, or Amazon Pay being launched, they have a way of using communication as a phenomenal tool of talking to their target audience in a direct versus the way others have been talking about, which is more linear. These are the ones which are more exponential. It can come to you at all point of time. It can speak to you at multiple elements. And at the same time, the way you understand Amazon or the way you understand Google or the way you understand iPhone, is and the way these brands have been built over a period of time are far bigger and better than any other brand that has been built. And one of the key things that these guys are doing is they are innovating and at the same time they are communicating with their target. So that was my opening statement on primarily on what PR can do and how PR can help you in understanding what the brand stands for. Garima, if you have anything else to ask, I can go on this lecture, but I'll be happy to have a interaction rather than this kind of a monologue.
Sure, I think it was extremely resourceful talk and our students must have gained a lot from this. They have a couple of questions for you. We'll start with that.
Yeah.
So the first question we have is that how is publicity different from public relations?
How is publicity different from public relations? Publicity is a part of public relation. Public relation includes all elements. Publicity primarily is riding on the tactical or current things that are happening. You can use a paid format in publicity, but in public relation, the formats can be paid as well as unpaid. So public relation is a larger umbrella, and publicity is just one part of a tactic that is used to get the issue, the product, or the celebrity more in mind.
Okay, great. The second question we have with us is how effectively can we measure our PR skills?
So if you can measure up PR skills in a big way, uh, where uh, it is about the impact that you have. So things that you need. So PR also over the period has gone into three evolutions. If you talk about, let's say, when my dad was working as an engineer, and you were to ask him, what do you think is PR? He will say, oh, PR is about, taking people out for lunch and getting people from the airport, the expats, and making sure that they are managed comfortably. So for him, public relation was that part. And when I decided to move out of my MBA finance and do PR, he was kind of little taken aback, कि ये क्या करना है? To the level that PR became a part of marketing, which means the marketing money started riding on public relation, which means a new product is launched, whether it is T3, whether it is iPhone, and we have all seen on YouTube how Steve Jobs used to use PR to launch his product in a big way. In fact, others have started copying it. All new launches are now done via PR. The third element, which is PR becoming an integral part of marketing at one point. Now is the last format of PR from the evolution stage, which is it is becoming strategic, which means PR is not about what you are going to say. It is also about what you are going to do. So when it becomes a part of your behavior, that is when, PR is the third level. Now, depending on which side of from a skill perspective you are in, you need to choose which one you want to do. So for many of the younger students, they choose PR ki अरे रोज party में जाना पड़ेगा, रोज product launches होंगे. Yes, that is true, it happens, but it doesn't happen every day. There is a lot of rigor that is required. You need to understand finance, you need to understand writing, you need to understand law, you need to understand policy. Only then you'll be able to give a right recommendation to any client, from a strategic perspective. So depending what element of public relation you want to be, and depending which one puts you best, but what is the skill that is required is reading and writing. These two are very, very important skill for any PR professional to make sure that he reads a lot. He's a voracious reader, and secondly, he should have his own writing style and writing skill. You should write a blog, you should write for newspapers, you should write for any magazine. But these are the two important skills that are needed. And now the third one that has emerged is making of a video, because audio visual has become the first form. So making a video is also becoming a very, very important skill.
Right. I think this is very useful for our students and a good tip that you shared for them. Next question is very related, as you mentioned, marketing. So students want to know that what is the best advice you would give for somebody who's from the marketing field?
So my best advice will be, see, the way the advertising is pivoting or shifting, there is an end of large scale advertising. You will see most of the advertising agencies in the current time are struggling. But the only sector that is doing well is public relation, which is both paid as well as the earned. So with social media, with influencer outreach, the era of that one size fit all is diminishing. There is going to be a segment of market that is going to emerge. By which I mean, if I am a sports enthusiast, I will need to reach out to sports people. If I am a food enthusiast, I will need to reach out to food bloggers, so on and so forth. So even marketers need to now understand how are these guys consuming things. And the way Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok in the current format is happening, in this current scenario, nobody is bothered. I am not bothered what Nike can do for Michael Jordan. I am bothered what Nike can do for me. So in my own space, I am the media. And on my Facebook, it's my story, it's my video, it's my photograph, my family stuff. And similarly on my Insta, it's my selfies. So with this evolution of a consumer, even the marketing communication has to change. And if you're intrusive, if I get a call currently, which is a marketing call, we'll get irritated. But you're reading something and you read about a brand, you will be more interested in understanding what is it that the brand is talking about. And therefore, my request or my suggestion to all the marketers will be, to look at the earned part of media as well, which is under the purview of publications.
Thank you. We have a very interesting question next coming up. So, public relations has been one of the major sectors which needs to be taken care of while designing marketing mix for a product or a company. Therefore, how can an individual work on their PR skills to get a better opportunity in the industry?
Yeah, so see, there are public industry is a very large sector now in India. There are thousands of agencies which are there. It depends as to where you apply, what are your skill sets, what exactly are you doing. But everyone or anyone can learn PR. You need to be a good reader. You need to understand the subject well, and of course, you need to have what we call it as the influencer outreach relationship management. So earlier, when I started off, the influencer was only media. Today, the influencer can be anyone. It can be a film star, it can be an Instagrammer, it can be a stand-up comedian, it can be a food blogger, it can be a racing guy. Depending on which sector I am in, so whether it is sports, whether it is food, whether it is cement, whether it is automobile, I need to understand who are the guys who are influencing the thought process of the consumer. And as student of PR, the job is to understand that well, and therefore look at how do I make sure that I add to that process. That's what the entire learning is.
Okay, thank you. We have certain students from the legal background as well. They have few questions. So the question is, a good PR is bound to enhance the success rate in legal profession as an advocate or legal advisor. But sir, do you think when a particular case does not fall in one's favor, does that affect the public relations? And if it does, then how should we overcome this challenge?
Yeah, so I see it does affect the public relation because if it is not in your favor, because nothing succeeds like success. People will go towards a successful lawyer or the person who has won the case. But if you are doing your PR, you are able to make others understand the point of view that you have as to what exactly were the things that were being talked about, and you own the narrative, as the term we call it, that you have your own storytelling that goes into it. That is something that a public relation can do. So the way New Zealand lost the World Cup, it is the way it was lost and the spirit that they showed. It is still being talked about, in the larger scheme of things. So even if you are losing a match, or if you are losing a fight or a legal battle, but if your point of view have engaged the audience and has started off a debate, I think you have still won the thing. And you don't have to go out like a loser, but you can go out with your head high, your head high. However, again, it is about making sure that you're seen as someone who's transparent, not manipulating the consumers, not manipulating people. And if you do that, the world would be, the other world would be.
I think this is very motivating, them to believe in themselves. Okay, the next one is, judges are expected to live the life of a hermit with least public interaction. Do you think PR has a role to play in the choreograph of judges as well?
Yes, absolutely. I think, their old judgments, the way the judgment was sound, what did they say, how that judgment impacted larger society, was the judgment for a societal cause. That, of course, has a huge amount of thing. Also, public relation plays, at least in formulating opinions or attitudes towards a particular thing, and that happens because there has been a word of mouth or a PR that has been going around. So there was a time when cigarettes were shown as very cool. Cigarettes were shown as something which was very macho, which heroes used to take. But the moment there was a larger cause that people came in and said that this is not a good thing to be shown in public, and people should not be talking about it, then you will see a huge amount of damage that tobacco industry has undergone post the opinions and attitudes towards a particular thing has changed. So it is important even for judges, since you asked, judges also read the same newspaper. of course, it does not impact their judgment, but it has a point of view. And the moment it's in the shade of gray, they will tend to go with where the publication has been done in a minute.
Surely this is the need of the hour for any profession possible. Yes. Okay. Next question is, are there any set rules to improvise our communication? What are the kind of skills required for a PR specialist on a popular demand, sir?
So the things that are required for a PR specialist is clarity of communication, of course, and a great sense of research that you are talking about. Because see, when I joined an agency, which was 25, 26 years back, I can't pick up a thing that I am an engineer, therefore I will only do PR for an engineering firm and I'll not do PR for any other firm. I have worked across, I have worked for a celebrity, I have worked for Bollywood celebrities, I have worked for hospitals, I have worked for hotel industry, I have worked for cement company, I have even worked for, for a lot of NGOs. So you can't pick up a sector of your choice कि मैं सिर्फ इसी के लिए करूँगा and I'll not do it for anyone else. Therefore, and there may be a chance that you don't even know about that sector. Now, when we do PR for fintech, I don't have an idea as to how fintech work. Or when I started off, I never had an idea how fintech work. So you need to read a lot to understand, how fintech works, and therefore only then you'll be able to say that this is how you can communicate. So the fundamental skill that is required is reading, which will lead you to research, which will lead you to analyze, and of course in communicating. So this is a linear process, but it doesn't happen in this way. You will keep on learning about multiple things. Tomorrow, if you were given a chance to do PR for Netflix, right, and you don't know how Netflix works, so first you need to understand how Netflix works. Only then you've been a consumer all your life. You need to understand how Netflix works, and only then you'll be able to do PR.
Next question is, sir, what are the things which one should keep in mind while interacting on a public forum?
So there are two ways of doing that. If you are a spokesperson, you need to be confident. You need to look like someone who understands the subject well. You need to be polite and humble on a public forum if the spotlight is on you. But let's say you are in PR and you are on the back end of the things, you are the backroom boy, you are not going out in front of the camera and talking about it, then don't talk negative about your competition. Don't talk negative about anything. Try and focus the entire discussion on you, which is on the subject or on the things, and look at the positive side of things rather than highlighting the negative part of it. In the public forums, I think that is the best way that you will emerge as a good spokesperson versus bringing your competition down and talking negative about it. People will see you in a different light.
Okay, the next question is that what motivated you to choose this career? And we have a continuation here that how do you see the prospects changing after COVID-19?
So see, when I started off, when Garima talked about me, I'm a typical middle class product of India, which primarily means I was growing up in my 80s. I only had to take engineering because that's what my parents asked me to do. So I never thought I'll enter into PR, when I was starting off, and I worked as an engineer. It's only over the period of time when I found myself in that space, I realized that this is a brilliant, way of expressing yourself. This is a good way of reaching out to the CEOs, who will listen to you. So at a very young age, I was speaking to the industry captains. I was sitting in the same boardroom with them. That kick, I think, was something that I got in the early part of my life. And that has helped me in, that kind of motivated me to be in this space.
Okay. The next question is, how has the role of PR changed in the digital era, especially due to social media marketing?
So PR has gone through a major change. Earlier, PR was all about purely media outreach. It was all about making sure the Times of India and Economic Times of the world primarily cover you. and hence the journalists became very, very important. And then the shift happened. And as I spoke about this shift, the power has now gone to a common man. I can take a brand down by tweeting about it. I can talk about the negativities in the brand by just being, being caustic on the social media side. And therefore, PR now needs to understand. I don't know if you recall, but British Airways spoke to Sachin Tendulkar and talked about, Sachin, can you please tell us who you are? And the entire cricket fans and cricket fraternity went after British Airways because of that. Which clearly showed the person who was tweeting, of course, was not from India, and he never, had the time to bother to go through what Maria Sharapova did. The same thing. She asked, "I don't know who's Sachin Tendulkar," and then, of course, the entire world went after her. Point I'm trying to make is that in the era of social media, Google is becoming the first proxy. Everyone is Googling tomorrow. Let's say if you would have seen the flyer that the institute used, some of you would have Googled my name as well. Well, let me just go and understand who Dr. Samir Kapoor is. So same element is now happening, that everything is getting Googled. We are now proxy to Google. At one point in time, what was proxy to for newspapers, Google has become that proxy. And in that space, PR is changing because we need to be agile, we need to be quick, we need to make sure that we understand the issue fast and we give advice to our clients in a much faster way. That's the shift. Earlier, I could make a press release, take my own sweet time, get back to the person, after 2 days, 3 days. But in the current world, and specifically in the social media, a delay of even 4 hours is too bad, right? You have to be there upfront. You have to understand, and hence scenario planning, crisis management becomes a very, very important tool in the current scheme of things.
I think in today's era, both are intertwined with each other. They're backing each other.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Next question is, does professional ethics have any role to play when we're trying to have good public relations?
Absolutely. Ethics has a role to play everywhere, whether it is public relation or any other field that you're choosing. And if, let's say, you are not self-regulating yourself, if the company or the sector is not in the regulation space, if you're not self-regulating yourself, the regulator will come and regulate. So case in point is the INB Ministry Act is not applicable to the OTT platform. You see a lot of stuff that is being shown on OTT. It's a matter of time when the minister will or the ministry will and the social pressure, they will sit up and notice as to what are the kind of stuff that is being shown on the OTT platform. Which is true for for the fintech industry, which is true for lawyers, for doctors. If you are not regulating yourself, you don't follow certain code ethics, the outside body will come and do it for you. Whether it is stock markets, whether it is CSR, for example, people were saying that companies should give back to the society. Some of them were doing it, like Tata and others, but others decided, it is just a lip service. So finally, what happened in 2013, the Company Act was introduced where CSR became mandatory. So if ethics are not being followed by the company or by the practitioner, there will be someone who will come and as an outsider, as an auditor or as a regulator, will impose ethics on you from that side. So personal ethics are important as an organization. Adfactors doesn't work with alcohol firms, it doesn't work with tobacco firms, it doesn't work with gambling firms, and that's an ethic. And we've let go of many large marquee ticket, large clients because it doesn't fit into our ethics. So that's the reason why everyone, of course, some of my competition is doing it. I'm not saying they should not do it what I'm not doing it, but each one has their own ethical point of view. But ethics are important in any profession.
Right. Certainly. I think our students are getting very, very motivated and they're sending us lots of questions. There's another one coming up here. How do you think, sir, data analytics and artificial intelligence will help drive progressive growth and development in the PR sector?
So data analytics and artificial intelligence is something that is touching all aspects of industry. PR is also not away from it, which means you are now seeing customized emails getting mailed. You are seeing a CRM, which is part of PR, being used in a big way. Online reputation management using data and using AI is now emerging in a big manner. Where is the trend happening? What is it that people are chatting about? You can now analyze that data and also look at, get an intelligence from the machine itself as to what is it that the chatter is all about. Now, let's say a chatter in uh, in West Bengal is about, let's say, something that is happening of the lockdown that they've just started off, or in Bihar. While in Delhi, it can be about the beds that are not available. While in Bombay, it can be about the way COVID is spreading into Dharavi and other areas. So each geography will have its own chatter, and it's the way that you analyze it artificially as well. That is, machine will do it for you, and at the same time, you will also understand it. That is going to change the way we are going to deploy tools for public relation in the coming time. So it is going to be impacted. Data analytics is the mainstream. I have done a course, many of my colleagues have done a course in data analytics to understand this better. So it was something that was being earlier done by bankers or by IT guys, but I think marketeers are also now moving, and PR guys are also now moving into this.
Thank you. Actually, we have a pool of questions, but because of paucity of time, we'll strict our strings. So the last one we have here is, what career advice would you like to give to the students so that they can excel in this field?
I, at the expense of repeating myself, my career advice will be start reading a lot about what's happening around, because everything has an impact on the things that we're doing. In the strategic term, we call it the pestle analysis, which means the politics of a place, the economics of a place, the socio-cultural aspect of that place, the technology of the place, and the legal environment of the place will impact the business. So today, let's say, if you have to do any business which has to do with chemicals and dyes in Delhi, the Supreme Court order will not allow you to open up a factory here, right? And therefore, you can't say, no, I wasn't even aware that, oh, there is an order like this. Environment pollution, sustainability, governance are now the norms that one needs to understand. So apart from doing, whether it is law, whether it is engineering or any other subject, you need to understand what are the laws of the land, how the politics of that space is defining that entire thing. And if you understand that well, you have you don't need to understand constitution per se, but if you just understand what are these 6 elements that are defining my sector, you will be well prepared and you will definitely see success in your chosen career.
Sir, I would say this was indeed an envisioning session for our students. Rather, I would call them young professionals. And I'm sure your ideas and suggestions will help them enrich their careers in multiple ways. On behalf of the entire AEG family, the directors, faculty members, and the students, I extend my very hearty vote of thanks for gracing us with your presence today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Tom.